Hey guys, welcome to today's analysis. This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com. Today's analysis is members only. So let's just dive right in. Let's get started. I'm going to kick things off with looking at the news. So what's going on? We have the FOMC economic projections coming up shortly. That's happening in about an hour. So you really do want to watch out around about that time. That's going to be potentially a big market mover. So be careful around that time. Hey, Sydney. Jumbling up my words. Hey, Sydney, how you doing, man? And the press conference after. So we have basically, in an hour, the numbers are coming. And then shortly after the numbers, we have the press conference. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some big market movement from all this news. So if you're looking at any trades right now, I strongly suggest waiting until after those trades in order to enter. Now, what else is coming before the next webinar? Pretty much all of this news. So we have the monetary policy statement out of Japan, along with the Bank of Japan press conference. You do want to watch out for that. SMB monetary policy assessment. You want to watch out for that. Well, the amount of interest rate stuff that's coming out is scary. Now we also have the MPC official bank rate votes, monetary policy summary, and the official bank rate out of the UK. So basically, interest rate stuff coming out all over the place. Do be careful trading through these. I will trade through them. So like, let's say I have an open trade, for example. It's not like I'm going to close out. Like, let's say I'm short on AUDJPY. Not like I'm going to close out that short. But if the short doesn't trigger until like an hour before the report, I probably won't enter an hour before the report. I'll wait till it's over in order to enter the trade. So that's what I mean by watch out for it. So just watch out for all these reports, guys. Hey Rashad. Hey ADNK. So yeah, just keep your eyes out for these ones. Be careful. Trade smart. Let's move over to the actual chart and see what we see. All right, for those of you who are still holding on to this gold long, I know there's a few of you. Just hold on to the trade. It's looking good. I think it has a good chance of running up. I know it's moving a bit slow, but the intention of this trade was entering and holding for several weeks. So there's nothing wrong with continuing to hold on to this position. Just, yeah, keep on it. New Zealand USD, we were looking here for a potential long yesterday. It never really triggered. Nothing at all really happened. It pushed up and then it just came barreling back down. I'm still looking for a potential long here. I still want to see if price stalls out on this support area. It is showing signs of stalling out. It's struggling a lot to break through this support area. So there is potential for a reversal from support here. AUDJPY. Now this we were looking at it yesterday for a potential short. I'm still interested in the short. It's a bit of a weird one. With the gap that we had, it was a pretty big gap down. Shot up, showed us indecision yesterday, showing us indecision again. So I'm definitely looking for a short here. I'm just not sure if we're going to have it actually trigger. But I'm still looking for a short from this resistance area. Since it's a weird one, let me draw this up and give you an example of how I might trade this. It probably goes something like this. I want to see a break of yesterday's candle. I want my stop above these candles from last week. So I want to have a pretty good stop loss, pretty tight entry overall, and a good risk to reward ratio. CADJPY, I can't remember why I marked this. I mean, I was looking at it as a potential, but I didn't really like it. It's very similar to AUDJPY. You could argue that it looks better than AUDJPY. I just don't really like this pair. But that being said, it is a somewhat valid setup. The biggest problem I have with this one would be the upper wicks here, because if we were to do a similar setup here, we'd want our stop loss above those wicks. Our risk to reward ratio won't be as good. But there is potential for a short here, guys. If you want to keep an eye on it, I'm apprehensive about entering this one just because I don't really like CADJPY as a pair, but it is a valid setup, so. Nothing really going on in AUDUSD. I was looking for a potential range, but there is no range there. Ooh, but there is one here. Looks best on the 1 hour. So basically we have a bit of a range forming here, guys. It's not the clearest range. That bottom line is a bit unclear. As you can see, it did dip pretty low, and then the next time it didn't get quite so low. But, you know, ranges aren't always going to be picture perfect. It is a range. Remember, the bottom of a range, it's an area. It's not a solid line. It's an area, just like our other support resistance areas. So right now what we have is we have price hitting the bottom of the range twice, bouncing away. It hit the top of the range once, and it bounced away. So this is the top. There was some resistance here from the top of that range, but I don't really want to count that as a bounce because it's not a bounce. So basically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to drop down to the bottom of this range again, and I'll go long from the bottom of the range. That's what I'm looking for here on AUDCAD. I'm going to mark it as a potential shorter time frame trade. AUD New Zealand, we have a bit of a range on the 15-minute. I'm going to mark it here, but it's a very messy one, guys. It's a very messy one, making it kind of risky to trade this one. But there is potential for a short here. Actually, you could, in theory, enter short right now if you want. As in, kind of now. I don't like the messiness of this range. That being said, this is a perfectly valid setup. Oops. The risk to reward ratio is not great, actually. It's not great. Well, anyway, guys, I'm not going to enter it. I'm going to mark it for you guys if you want to enter it. It's a bit of a risky one for me, but there it is. All right, let's pop back up to the daily. You know what? Let's just do the daily chart and the larger timeframes first, and then we'll go over it again for the smaller timeframes, because flicking between all the timeframes is just going to get confusing. It's hard to get good support resistance for this pair. It is interesting that it's coming back down though. Pretty solid indecision forming on GBPCHF, potential short there. We'll review this one towards the end. All right, that's it for the larger time frames. Let's see if we can find some ranges on the lower time frames. I pointed out that there wasn't really a range anymore on AUDUSD, but I think I missed something here. There actually is a potential range forming. We need price to push up and hit the top of that range. So basically, we want to see price come up, hit here, and then you could potentially enter a short from the top of the range, but it's only really got one good bounce. It's got this kind of minor bounce here that if you want to, you could say to yourself, okay, I'm going to treat that as a bounce and call this a confirmed range. It's a tricky one. You could do that, or you could also just be a bit more patient, wait for price to hit the top of the range, come back down, and then go long from the bottom. I'll leave this one up to you guys. I'll let you know what I'm going to do with it. But there's definitely some potential there. See how price is moving on this really, really tight range on the 8 hour? That means it's very possible if we were to drop down to a smaller time frame, we would see a range. It's not always going to be the case, but a lot of times it will be. In this instance, it's not the case. We could have a range forming here, but it's very early days, so it's not even worth marking. We'll just look at it if it actually does happen. See that really tight movement there? That could be a range. But it isn't. It isn't. Nah, I don't like that. All right, well, take a quick look at these. Don't really see anything there. Well, that is it for the analysis today, guys. Let's just do a quick summary. New Zealand USD, I'm looking for a potential long if price stalls out on this support area. It appears to be stalling out, so I'm just going to be a bit patient here and wait to see what happens. Yesterday, it attempted to make a move up, but it just didn't really get anywhere. AUDJPY is a potential short here from this resistance area. Definitely looking to get into this short. CADJPY, very similar, but this one's a bit riskier because of the risk to reward ratio. The stop loss putting it above these highs makes the risk to reward ratio pretty bad. GBPCHF, we're seeing price stall on this resistance area, so there's potential for a short here. We need to see this daily candle close first, and after it closes, we can look for a potential short trade. So let's imagine it closes exactly as it is now. The trade would look something like this. It wouldn't have a great risk to reward ratio, as this support area, yeah, is pretty nearby. But it is definitely a potential. Onto the smaller time frames. The worst of these setups is definitely AUDUSD. Well, not the worst, just the least complete. What we need to see technically is for price to hit the top and come back down for a potential short. AUDCAD has already hit the top, so we just need to see this drop back down and give us a potential long trade here. And AUD New Zealand, so these previous two were on the 1 hour. AUD New Zealand's more on the 30-minute or even the 15-minute. This one's pretty risky and it's very messy. I'm not going to enter this one personally. Well, at least not right now. So that is it for the analysis, guys. Is there any questions? So the JPY interest rate announcement generally only has an impact on JPY pairs, whereas the USD interest rate announcement is going to have an impact on all pairs. So I wouldn't really be too worried about the JPY interest rate announcement affecting other pairs. It could sometimes have an impact on, let's say, the Aussie dollar or something like that, but it's very minimal and it almost never happens anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. There are things like, for example, the euro interest rate announcement can have an impact on the CHF, the Swiss franc. So that can happen sometimes. And obviously, the GBP interest rate announcement can have an effect on the euro and vice versa. But again, the effects are often minimal with those. So the USD is the only real one that has an impact outside, a major impact outside of USD pairs. Fair enough. Does that answer your question? And are there any other questions? All right, it looks like there's no other questions, guys. So I'm going to wrap this analysis up. Do keep an eye on all those pairs. What is it today? The 18th. Starting towards the end of next week, we're going to be making the chat room, the Forex Mastermind chat room, public. So public to Mastermind members. So not public to everyone, public to course members. Right now it's in a kind of private beta and only around about 20 course members have access. So starting next week, we'll be giving access to everyone towards the end of next week. So that's going to be around about, I'd say around about the 29th is when we'll be releasing the instructions on how to access it. The chat room's been going well so far. It is a pretty intense project, but it's basically used for trading smaller time frames. So smaller time frames such as these trades I shared here on the 1 hour chart, these range bounces and stuff like that, and some more advanced setups that happen on the lower time frames. No, it's not Slack, it's in Telegram. Found that Telegram was a better option for this. Telegram is kind of like WhatsApp, but 10 times better. So we'll be releasing more information on that soon. Yeah, but other than that, guys, that's all the announcements I have. I'm back from holiday. I don't have any other holidays until next month, where I will be going off to Belgium for a bit. Don't remember the exact dates of that holiday, but it's going to be mostly over a weekend or something like that. So it shouldn't affect you guys too much. And generally, whenever I go to Belgium, I do have very good internet access, and I am on the forum, and I don't really miss that much. I'm doing a lot of traveling this year, so this last holiday I went on, I didn't really have great internet access, so that's why I haven't really been around much since last week. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll catch you guys later.